that? That's the second time it's gone off.
They never go home, they never go home, they never go home, those boys.
But that's not all, folks. I will now hand you over to our esteemed producer, Mark Horgan.
Thank you, folks. It's my honour to present the theatrical debut of Ken Early's podcast sensation, The Fairview. Now, this slot, as you can probably tell, has not been rehearsed, or indeed read by some of tonight's performers. And yes, we did ask Brian Kerr to take part in this, but he declined, so unfortunately. So we'll need your input to make this less shit. Whenever you hear the words Dermot Connolly, you say, Yahoo! So Dermot Connolly. Yahoo! Whenever you hear the dubs, you say quick, Yup! So Dermot Connolly. Yahoo! No, that's Yahoo! You're right, Bobby, they fucked it up!
This is going to be great.
Okay, welcome our cast, and of course, right now, our narrator, Ken Early. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Fairview.
A Vorneen Kate Mila Fuelta.
Comes a familiar cry. It's Biddy the charwoman, looking up from her darling with a smile, beckoning me into the snug.
Come on and sit yourself down and shut.
She says. I peek into the snug and look around at the friendly faces. There's Randy the Yank O'Hara, a friendly, smiling man with a brain the size and weight of a hard-boiled egg. There's old Pudzer O'Toole. He usually doesn't have two tanners to rub together, but I knew he was flush from his gig, doing the voice of the carbon monoxide canary for the gas board. Maybe that's why. Next to him is parked a surprising sight, Radican the bookie, with the big fur coat and sharp eyes peering out from under the fedora hat. His shoes have a shine that'd scald the eyes off you, and his fingers dripping with jewels. Before I even have the stool pulled up, I know right well what the subject of conversation would be. The same subject as every day. The dubs. Our dubs.
Sit down there,
says Pudzer.
and help us settle a question. We know the boys are looking fair unbeatable at the moment, but if you can only pick one of them, who would it be?
Well, the dubs these days is a lot of mighty men. But we all know who's the mightiest of them all, says I, and that's none other than Dermot Connolly. Everyone nodded.
Now, didn't I say the same thing?
Magic.
Oh, he's a magic man.
A big, strong man, lovely build on him.
I'd say he's one of the best made fellas I ever saw. Who's Dermot O'Connell?
But dependable too, dependable Dermot.
There was a moment of silence. We lifted the glasses of porter and drank. A snort came from the other end of the bar.
If the men of 23 could see us talking up the likes of Connolly, they'd be spinning in their graves.
The speaker was the old rag and bone man, Vinnie Finucane, who lost a leg fighting the Staters in 22. He seldom speaks, but when he does, the whole place falls quiet to listen. Supporting himself on his crutch, he raised his ball of mouth to his wrinkly out lips and took a lengthy suck.
That pup Connolly thinks he's a real hard job. But he does spend hours lapping about with weights till he's blown up like a doll. If it wasn't for all that, he couldn't pull the rind off a rasher. Tell me, what is it he does be at all day?
He's an accountant, I think.
Says Radigan.
Or some class of pen pusher, no doubt. In my day, the dubs used to do real work. Every day down the coal yard, the donor Doolin would shovel 10 tons of coal. That's how you get the real natural strength.
The Donner Doolin.
Pudzer asked.
The donor was the hero of the championship of 1923. Of course, in them days, the final was the following year, so we had the 1923 final in 1924.
Biddy drops a pin from her darning and it falls on the bar with a great clatter.
The Dubs was up against Mayo in the final.
Says Vinny.
In those days, them lads came up here thinking they had a chance. The donor was half forward, still grubby with the coal dust from the morning shift. And the very first time he got the ball, he turned for goal. When the donor kicked the point, it stayed kicked. The ball flew over the bar, over the stand, and out the croaker altogether.
We gasped with amazement.
The paper the next day tracked it down. The ball flew all the way to Russell Street. And would you believe it landed in a babby's pram? And you know which babby it was in that pram? Only the young Brendan Bean himself. That's the day he got the wonky nose. True as I'm standing here.
Our hungry eyes shone with gratitude as Vinny continued to dispense the priceless lore.
Well, nobody had another ball. The game was suspended. But then one of the GAA fellas had a bright idea. He was away up to Christie's greengrocer on the Clonlive Road, and a minute later, he was back with a fat old cabbage for a ball. So the ref threw the cabbage in to restart the game. But when the Mayo lads got their hands on the cabbage, instinct took over. They couldn't resist taking sneaky nibbles at it. Before you know, it was just an old sprig of leaves. So the ref says, we'll need something these Mayo lads won't eat before the game is over. And everyone was looking around, fresh out of ideas. So that's when the donor says, right, I know just the thing. And before you know it, he's taken his penknife and dug it into his belly and pulled out his own liver. There you go, says he, handing over the liver to the referee. That'll do yous to the end of the game, says he, turning pale and gasping out of him. That was the love he had for the game. And then he slumped to the ground and there wasn't another word out of him. And that was in the days before substitutes, so the Dubs had to go on with just the 14 fellas. At first, nobody could get a grip on the new ball. But when it dried out, the boys managed to sling it over the bar for a few more points. Well, everyone knew that even though the donor hadn't finished the game, he had given as much as anyone to the cause that day. They propped him up on the bar in Sligo's of Parnell Street and gave the medal to his widow. The priest told her he'd be a true blue hero for all time. The pride of the woman. She couldn't stop crying to be thinking about it. So I tell you, your Connollys and your McManamans, is there a man among you who'd slice out his own liver for the Dubs?
Maybe Clucko?
Suggests Pudzer.
Yeah.
Vinny flashes him a look that had stripped the face off him. From the rest of us, there was only cuteness. But isn't it the way with every tale? After the laughter, the cuteness.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our cast. Sorcha Pollak as Biddy the Charwoman, Richie Sadlier as Pudzer O'Toole, Andy Lee as Radigan the Bookie, David O'Doherty as Vinnie Finucane, and your narrator, Ken Early. And a round of applause for Owen McDevitt, Ciarán Murphy, and the star of the show, US Murph!
Which one is that? That's the second time it's gone off.